41. So attendance has been taken. There is no public comment. And so I'm going to ask if anyone has any comments about the minutes of the May 28th meeting. Okay, hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of the May 28th, 2021 meeting? Kevin moves to approve. Is there a second on that? Okay, everyone in favor, raise your hand or say aye if you're on the phone. Okay, Tom? I didn't hear any ayes, so.
Yeah, I don't know, Tom, are you maybe it's not a fair question. Scott obviously is not here. I don't know if you want to be a proxy or we just take it as an absence.
Well, I will, but officially that wouldn't be valid.
Okay.
So there's really no point.
Okay. All right, that's fine. We'll just take absence for Scott.
We should have Eric Herbst from Normal on any second now. I just emailed him. So.
Okay. We're expecting.
I'm on the phone. Yeah, this is Eric. I'm on the phone having a difficult time hearing. I was not able to get into the meeting through the GoToMeeting. The password on the invitation was not working.
Yeah, did you get the updated password? I just sent you an email about 5 minutes ago.
Okay. It said MCRPCPOL. Is that not correct?
No, there's a.
Here we go. Okay, thank you. That's working.
Okay. Hi, Eric. So we have approved, well, we should ask your vote. Right before you came online, there was a motion to approve the minutes of the May 28, 2021 meeting. There was a second to that motion, and everyone voted except for you. So do you vote to approve those minutes?
You muted.
You're muted.
Yes, approved.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so now we will move on to item 5 on our agenda, which is approval of the draft fiscal year 2022 to 2026 Transportation Improvement Program. This was presented last week at our meeting. So I'm wondering, are there any comments regarding the draft plan?
Okay, if everyone's okay with it, I ran a PowerPoint for the technical committee meeting. I think for the purposes of the policy committee, we'll do the same thing quickly, just so we have it in the live stream and people can refer back to it if they wish to. So
But people will not get lost actually.
right,
Yes,
right.
that's a good idea.
Okay, so let me just get myself sharing here. Which seems to be well, that was interesting. All right. All right. I'm going to close this down because then otherwise I can't see. All right. Don't know what happened there. All right. As you can see, we're looking at these two documents today, and you received them in the mail days ago. So first of all, this isn't working. Okay, let's try it this way. Okay. As you all know, the TIP is updated annually. It's a 5-year summary of all programmed projects within the metropolitan planning area, by which we mean projects that have received adequate funding to be feasible, to go forward, as opposed to planned projects, which we also have, that are not yet funded in order to proceed. So this includes roads, pedestrian and bicycle facilities, trails, such as our friends at Route 66. Transit services and facilities are also covered. And we cover both Connect Transit and Showbus, although Showbus technically doesn't provide service inside the urbanized area. It's frequently a destination for their passengers. And then there are educational and special programs. Safe Routes to School is probably the best known at this point, but there are other things that do turn up. Plus, there's us, there's regional planning that's part of this overall program. All right. This is a summation of on the left is a list of the funding sources from the local, state, and federal levels. Excuse me. Across the top is the 5 years of the program, starting with the fiscal year 22 that starts in about a week. And then it shows subtotals for each of those years and 5-year totals for each of the funding sources. So if you read down the right-hand column, that's the total for each funding source. And down at the bottom, you see the totals by year and 5-year total, which is $215 million with another 302,638 tossed in on top. So it's a lot of money. And a lot of it, okay, we are required to include all projects that have federal funding as part of their funding package. As sort of alluded to earlier, the funding, the program must be fiscally constrained, which is to say that all of the projects have adequate funding to go forward. We also include local projects, including those that are strictly locally funded or for that matter, strictly state funded, because it gives a better picture of where all of this investment is coming from and in what proportions. The 5-year program in the constrained version, currently, once we got the IDOT list of projects, again, $302,638, $250 million, sorry. Almost an even split between local funding and federal funding with a slight edge to local sources and 10% from the state. And just a bit of a contrast here. Before we had the IDOT dollars included, it was much more heavily tilted towards a share for the local funding. But the other thing that happens when the state projects come in is they bring in a lot more federal dollars, the tune of about 60 million. So it's a significant difference. And this is the final version over here. This is what we had without IDOT's contribution for IDOT's projects. We also include illustrative projects, those which do not have fiscal constraint, do not yet have adequate funding to go forward. If these were funded sort of during the course of the program, it would increase federal spending a substantial amount, as you can see, because a lot of these projects sort of aspirationally expect or hope to be able to source federal funding for these various and sundry things they want to do but can't yet fund. And it can be a sneak peek at the future things that will eventually come to pass, but that's not necessarily the case. And I think that's the last thing I have. Yes, it is on the tip. So I'll drop this for a moment. Oh, here, of course. All right, so that's a quick summary of the tip. All of you have seen it in exhaustive detail over the last 2 or 3 months. And yes, that's the question at this point.
So does anyone have any questions of Jennifer regarding her outline or what's in the transportation improvement program? Okay, hearing none, let's have a motion. Would someone like to move to approve? Okay, Jerry moves to approve the fiscal year 2022 through 2026 Transportation Improvement Program. Is there a second on that motion? Kevin seconds. So all in favor, raise your hand. If you're visible, if you're calling, please say aye. Okay, good. It's unanimous, okay? Okay, and then we'll move on to the approval of the draft of fiscal year 2022 Unified Work Program. And Jennifer will make her presentation on that.
This one will be quicker. The very simple reason that there's only one slide. Here we go. Okay, the Unified Work Program, essentially functions as our budget for our transportation planning program for the coming fiscal year, which starts on July 1st. This year, there is a total funding through IDOT of $471,383, as you can see. You can also see in my famous pie chart how it's split up in terms of where it comes from. So 377,107 from Federal Highway and FTA in a little package. And then state metro money is a match, 94,277. For a total, when you add in local funding, the 155,000, which you'll see in the right-hand column of the table on the bottom. So 626,383, which is slightly above where it was last year. And this covers the projects you see listed in the table at the bottom left, which compose the elements, the work elements that are part of our Metropolitan Planning Organization agreement with IDOT. That covers our, the specifics of that agreement. We have other agreements with IDOT for other programs which are included in the UWP, but not counted as part of this budget because this is specific to the MPO contract. So if you look at the document, you'll see it has a couple of extra projects shown. One is the Region 6 Human Services Transportation Plan process. And that is, again, under a separate contract from the IDOT office in Chicago. And then work element 800 is kind of where we started with a rural planning project. And it's also now the sort of residents of the ongoing PACER project with the town of Normal. So that's Normal's $20,000 match and the state planning and research funding of $80,000 for a total of $100,000, which is currently sitting in 800. And that will sunset, and it's an extension. So we thank IDOT for that in this coming fiscal year. So next year we will have a different set of whatever in that project 800. And that's where we are. And I'm going to shut this down again. And this is basically the same process we use every year. And there's an explanation of the work elements, the line items that are included, and the sort of content of the projects, the individual tasks for each project, and then a budget for each project, which was summarized in that chart.
So it's my understanding that this aligns with the budget year of the county, right?
No, this is the state.
This is the state.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the state, the question that Ms. Clem raised, okay, for this, we call it the UWP, the Unified Work Program. It starts from July 1 through June 30th. And so for fiscal year 2022, we start July 1, 21 this year in just few days. And thanks to Tom from IDOT, who sent the agreement ready for us to execute, and then for IDOT to finalize the execution of the agreement, which would include this Unified Work Program as part of that agreement. So if it's approved today, so will be the budget from the IDOT portion in terms of their planning from July 1 on next Thursday, in fact. In that the county budget fiscal year starts January 1, and so this UWP will be part of that overall budget for budgeting purposes.
Okay.
Yeah. But there will be additional work elements, additional funding, local matches for that, which the Regional Planning Commission will see later in a few months.
All right. Are there any questions or comments? Okay. Well, hearing none, is there a motion to approve? Okay, Kevin moves to approve the fiscal year 2022 United Work Program. Is there a second to Kevin's motion? Jerry seconds that. Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. If you're visible on Zoom or if you're on a call, please say aye. Okay, the motion passes unanimously. The next item is basically our meeting schedule, the policy meeting schedule from July 2021 through June 2022. So is everyone okay with the dates that are laid out for the meetings?
Most of these are our usual fourth Friday morning of each month. A couple of exceptions where things have been pushed back a little bit, rather pushed forward in terms of time, earlier in the month because of holidays. So Thanksgiving and Christmas do their usual number on our schedule. I think that's it. Sometimes we run into other holidays, but that seems to be it this year. So the rest of them are consistent with our usual practice.
Okay. And then item number 8 is your opportunity to bring anything up that you would like.
If I may, since we have a few new faces,
Okay.
maybe it would be good for us to introduce ourselves, go around the screen and in the room, because we do have new faces, and good for them to be able to join us. So I'll let you start.
Well, my name is Mary Cramp, and I'm the chairman of the Planning Commission this year. And so I welcome the new people.
I'm Ray Lai. I'm the executive director with the McLean County Regional Planning Commission.
I'm Jennifer Six, also with the Regional Planning Commission, Transportation Matter.
I'm Tessa Farrar. I'm an assistant planner for the Regional Planning Commission.
And Tessa just joined us about a month ago.
Okay, Jerry,
Kevin, whoever.
would you like to say something, Jerry?
Jerry Stokes, I'm McLean County engineer.
Kevin?
Kevin Cothe, Director of Public Works for the City of Bloomington.
Okay. Tom?
Yes, Tom Caldwell with IDOT, your Metropolitan Planning Manager.
All right. Okay. And our next.
Jesse.
Cassie?
I'm Cassie Taylor. I am with McLean County Administration.
Yeah, if I may add, as I said earlier, Cassie took over our former county administrator, so she's been appointed as the interim county administrator by the county board.
Well, congratulations on your new appointment and welcome to our policy meeting.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm a little bit familiar with the plans from last year based on budgeting. So I look forward to reading these a little more thoroughly.
All right. Good. Eric?
Yeah, hi, Eric Hertz. I'm a project engineer with the Town of Normal, sitting in for Ryan Otta, who is unable to make it today.
Okay. JD?
Hey folks, JD Stevenson. I'm with the Federal Highway Administration. I'm team leader for planning, environment, and right-of-way team in our office. And while I got the microphone here, I just wanted to let you all know we periodically, usually on a 4-year basis, do what we call a planning review, where we come in and meet with the staff of the MPO and anybody else that really wants to get involved in that to kind of just go over what the process is and how it's going, and it just kind of enhances our oversight of the planning process. And so it's about that time again. We'll probably after the first of the year, probably in 2022, early 2022, I'll get with Ray and Jennifer and try to establish a good date, and we'll be doing that. But I just wanted to make you aware of that. We have we call it our performance year, and that's June 1 to May 31 of every year. And so we're in a new performance year, and so we're letting people know that we're going to do these reviews. So.
Okay.
Thank you for the heads up.
Good, thank you.
Okay. Well, our next scheduled meeting is July 23rd, 11:30. So,
And there will be a meeting because we already have an amendment to the tip you just adopted.
okay. All right. Well, would anyone like to move to adjourn? Jerry moves to adjourn, and any second? Kevin seconds. All right. Is it all? Raise your hand if you approve of adjourning. Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you, and we'll see you next on July 20th.